The UFL Gambling Podcast playoff reaction show episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, the bank account that is built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN to get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Claim your free shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
This is Brian Bosworth, a.k.a. The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. Do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
Welcome to the UFL Gambling Podcast, where Crossroads meet bullshit playoff edition, playoff reaction edition. YouTube.com/@UFL Gambling Pod. You can be a part of this. You can stare at our stupid faces, or you can listen to this on the audio side, wherever podcasts can be found. We appreciate you. Appreciate you. Can't fucking talk. I'm excited, right? Because this season's almost over. All right, folks, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Sir. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? It's like they got this best player in the league. They decided to play him the whole game. Unbelievable. Imagine how great the season would have been if we could watch him the whole season. Instead, we're faking a cankle injury. I am joined by my co-host. He's freshly back from Las Vegas, Nevada, with a goddamn with a beautiful hat. He's coming in here hot with just an absolute beautiful hat. My camera can't even fucking adjust. He is the host of the Bottom Line Bombs. He is a huge fan of the original Bum Phillips, not Son of a Bum. Yeah, Son of a Bum's all right in this book, but I mean, I saw some slander on the San Antonio Brahmas in the offseason. I'm sure he's caught up to date, as that's what one does in Vegas. They keep up to date with UFL content. Give it up for Scumbagger Vance, aka the Bet Detective, CJ Sullivan. How are you, buddy?
Good to be here. Of course, love the Bum Phillips there, and we never got into that son of a bum, that Brahma drama that came before it.
AJ Smith dropping bombs, saying the bums, and he was right. But you were all over this like last year. Bet Detective, they're like, Wade Phillips is sick. He doesn't even know what he's doing. He's not even coaching. We have a fake coach.
Yeah.
Told you these games were fake. We got fake coaches. We got fake coaches, fake games, fake injuries, fake home games. Well, we got one more game to go, and which it'll be I think the two best teams. So I'm excited. You say you're excited the season's ending. I'm excited because it's going to end with a bang with the two best teams in the league playing. I'm just saying the Crossroads are a lot much better when there's no bullshit. You know what I mean? I'll go hang out at those Crossroads in Canada.
We'll get to that. I did predict this final on last week's episode. Got mocked openly by the two of you for. Well, I said I agree there is a script involved, but my handicapping was the UFL doesn't know how to fix games. Like they're not like the NBA. The NBA scripts it and they read the script. These guys script it and they're like, well, then they fuck themselves up and get in their own way.
Well, I don't get but they're counting.
We'll get to that in a second because, I am just going to go ahead and say I'm a fucking genius. We are joined by third man in the booth. He's got a case of bad eggs. All right. So spare us if you if he has to run off to shit his pants. Give it up for the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. Give it up for Justin Mark, aka No Turn J Mark. There's no turning back, J Mark. When you start a pod, you got to sit it out. I don't care how bad your bubble guts are, buddy. How are you?
That's not true. We all saw Shaq just walk off on live air to the bathroom. So don't give me that shit. And while we're breezing over the whole,
it's easy to see a tide turn.
The old Houston and San Antonio drama. I don't know if I believe a fucking word AJ Smith says. I just want to throw that out right now. I've always thought that guy thought he was too good. Thought he was hot shit, and maybe getting passed for the play calling and passed for the head coaching opportunity or whatever happened. Maybe it pissed him off, and so he decided to just throw the league under the bus and say, "Hey, this happened." I don't know if I buy it.
I buy throwing the league under the bus. I think they've earned that.
Sure. I'm sure you do.
I think they've earned that. But yeah, I mean, who knows about his stuff there? But I do believe Bet Detective was over this a year and a half ago. He's like, Bum Phillips doesn't even know what he's doing. He's a glorified mascot. So, I mean, sorry, not Bum Phillips. Wade Phillips.
Son of a bum.
Yeah. So
he's the grandpa. He was the grandpa in the league, just jumping. Hey, we were all right. He was great. But also, AJ Smith, your offense wasn't exactly the greatest.
We would have won championships.
Right,
championships.
Show on turf last year either. It was your entire D line that got you a championship.
Well, I mean, shout out to the Michigan Panthers. It took Mike Nolan. What happened? Did Jake Bates hold his family hostage? Say you're gonna play Perkins the whole game. I was on the team last year.
No, I think to be honest with you, that's to tout myself again. Picking Michigan here when everyone's like, Birmingham beats. I think Perkins had a legitimate ankle injury a couple weeks ago, and then once it became, of course he did. Once it became clear that none of these games mattered towards the end of the regular season, like that's the last thing you want to rush someone back for. So get Etling in there, but it became clear in the middle of the season when Perkins had his viral moment that listen, this guy is the best player in the league. I think this was the plan all along, and he came back running, and I don't think it was. I don't think as much as we like to joke about how dumb Nolan is and how he likes to throw Etling around there, I don't think ever once he was going to start platooning him in a game like this. And Perkins. I'm glad he wasn't rusty, and I'm glad he once in this league. Like I said, I was saying this off the script before you came in there to J Mark. Even though I did go 2-0 on the sides, I thought the unders would hit because it's the third time they're playing. They know each other. None of that shit matters in this league. Who knows each other? Who's scheming? These guys hit the ground running, and if you're the better athlete, you're going to show it. And I think that's exactly what happened in both games. That all the, like we said in the big games, the NFL type players that come in there, they stepped up and had I don't know what they're doing all season, but you had guys like Malik Turner and Deion Kane, obviously, and these guys and. It's so funny how Jordan Thomas only gets touchdowns in these playoff and championship games too. It's like, oh yeah, the old Denver Bronco or whatever, But yeah, no, Perkins looked great. Looked like the best player. That one run he did on 3rd and 15, that was the backbreaker. I thought, like, oh, they're not losing this game. When Birmingham was missing tackles like that, and then Perkins was like making them run into each other, Three Stooges style. Like,
and then you had the Jamar Smith snafu, where but. Yeah, look, I thought Michigan had the best offensive line all year. I really did. Even with saying Birmingham was the best team. Yeah. Michigan's O-line, when Perkins is there, it gives them dual threat. Like they're the best team, in my opinion. When if you can guarantee me Perkins is playing the entire fucking game, with that O-line, they're the best team in the league.
I was wondering if you were going to admit that Birmingham might not be the best team in the league, even this week.
I think they're second, though. I think they're second.
That's as close as I'll get. Even above Arlington?
Well, Arlington's right in there. I mean, that's another one, man. It's just such a crock of shit. That's why this league sucks. I mean, how easy. I mean, I turned off that TV after like 2 drives in that St. Louis game because it was just like, okay, this is what happens when a bullshit product, when you pump a bad team into the playoffs, this is what happens. This is what happens. Everyone suffers.
I wouldn't say St. Louis is a bad team.
They're not. They were a much better team. A much better team, dude. one-dimensional. They're a one-dimensional team that they fucking sat around and pumped them up to get them in the fucking league, giving them more home games. That's why this league's a fucking joke. That's why I can't wait for this bullshit season to be over.
All right.
Right? And
let's get back to the recapping.
That is recapping.
I still don't feel like the one extra home game.
No, all the calls throughout the year. Are you kidding me? The Arlington shit. I mean, come on, man. They did everything in their power to get St. Louis into the playoffs. St. Louis didn't earn that shit.
Arlington got that call. Arlington got the bad call against Michigan. That wasn't against St.
No, multiple games though. But what do you mean? They're doing that to get St. Louis the home game.
The 9-3 game, for crying out loud. Come on, you're gonna put that on the
I thought without question that Arlington was a much better team, much more complete team than St. Louis was all year.
I don't think so, but I like Arlington. You know, I listen. What am I in the future? But I don't think they're clearly above St. Louis for sure. But DC, my squad, who I've been on all year, is on a mission. They had a chip on it. The doorman is on a mission, and that defense stepped up. St. Louis, they destroyed that St. Louis offensive line, and like it didn't matter if you had Silvers in there, but Dugan. Now, in St. Louis's defense, it's easy to forget that Dugan is the second-string quarterback in there, and with Manny Wilkins had that offense looking a lot different. But when they couldn't run the ball or whatever, you're right, they're one-dimensional. And DC, if DC's got a lead on you, their D-line can tee off. If you're going on them, that's when their defense is in trouble.
Just a terrible, like, if you tell me that's Arlington, DC, it's a game. It would be interested in watching. But, I mean, I had college baseball going on. I'm like, fuck this game. Just put this bullshit in here. It's like, I don't know. Like, the league sucks. But anyway, J-Mark, your thoughts on that game?
Which one? The DC?
Whatever one you want to talk about.
Put them all together. What if they played Royal Rumble style, all four together?
Well, yeah. For the first game, I was surprised that Birmingham lost the way they did. That it surprised me that Michigan dominated that game. I know the score was kind of close at one point.
At halftime, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was like, what, 21-14, 21-17.
It was a much more competitive game than the other one.
I disagree. Besides just one moment when Birmingham looked like maybe they could come back and Mike Nolan was all focused on what the score was last year.
When did you think St. Louis was live to come back?
No, I'm not saying they were. I'm talking about the Michigan-Birmingham game, saying that was never a game either. Yeah, I don't feel like that was ever a game, and that shocked me because Birmingham is they've been a powerhouse in this league. And so it shocked me that they were pushed around the way they did. As far as the DC Battlehawks game, yeah, it seemed like the Battlehawks kept playing through injuries, after Manny Wilkins went down. Duggan didn't look great, but the defense kept up, and it just seems like maybe that luck ran out because maybe like CJ said, maybe Shannon Harris in DC is on a mission. And after he shook hands with people, I don't think I ever paid attention to how much shorter he is than most. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it's a short guy thing. I don't know.
Definitely get it.
Like the Stallions Panthers game, they were both getting 5.7 yards per play. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the Stallions were even like they look like shit. But to me, it was much more like I thought, okay, well, let me watch to see if they could come back. Whereas like the St. Louis game, I'm like, they're it's like a triple option team with a Navy or something. You get down 2 scores, you're like, okay, well, they're not going to be able to throw the ball.
Well, you said you turned it off after 2 drives, so.
Yeah, well, I turned it off the main. I got 8 TVs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it was still there.
I didn't even put the audio on that shit after 2 drives, right? And
I get it. That game was definitely St. Louis easily the most disappointing effort of the 4. That was brutal. Birmingham, Michigan was a good game. Michigan was definitely in control the entire time, but Birmingham definitely had its capabilities of. But like I said, Birmingham was playing with fire all year like this. This is what they were. They were not. They just weren't the same Birmingham of years past. Well, just as good as all these other teams, but like. This to me, this was kind of bound to happen, and a lot of us are just thinking like, okay, we deserve to be here. We're just writing them in on name alone. But
no, I would say like
at least they still showed up.
The past 4 years, well, we'll see if Michigan wins, but I kind of felt like Birmingham, like the team with the best offensive line. Birmingham had the best offensive line the past 3 years, in the spring ball, in my opinion, and they didn't have it this year.
And they could not run the ball, and it was clear. And
Ricky Person only got like 2 carries. That was weird.
Although at one point, I mean, they were playing catch up the entire time. It was 14-0 to open up the game real quickly.
Yeah.
missed field goal, then the pick six, and then it's just bad from there. And real quick shout outs from our guy Steve from New Hampshire, who's been saying kind words the entire time. Who's a huge fan. Just to add a little positive, his 2 cents. Yes, but all the guys in the league giving 110%, get noticed, and hopefully get to the next step. So there's great things. And along with the playoffs, he said he'd like to pay out, but tells me the league is seriously real. And I agree with this because you can't say that these 2 games were fixed because they wanted St. Louis and Birmingham to play each other.
Of course, but you can fix as much as you can. But when you have a shitty team going to the playoffs because of bullshit.
But I get that. But I'm saying some of it should be happy that the 2 best teams clearly won. Who outgained it? They went against your script, Colby, and they actually outgained the team they beat. 371 yards for Michigan, 388 for DC. Both efforts were pretty impressive by the winners. I think, like they really.
Agreed.
I mean, they played probably their games of the year, both of them.
DC could get everything they wanted.
Yeah,
like every single. I mean, Michigan pretty much too, but DC, I felt like even more so. It's like they're gonna blitz, they're gonna try. Like it was like to me in Tecmo Bowl when the fucking dude's plays, it's like okay, he's gonna do a run left right here, and that shit was over in no time.
Yeah, half of it I think was their great D-line pass rushing. The other half was Dugan holding on to the ball a little late. Like he seems like a lot of times when he would get popped and the ball would come, like he was like, wait, like you don't have that time. Like, I mean, they're coming for you, and at this point, he's like, corrodes in the field, like get rid of that thing. So who knows?
I will say when I stepped back, I took off the conspiracy hat first of all, and I took off the I want to see the Battlehawks play the championship in their home dome. I think this is the best matchup we could have gotten.
Oh yeah,
isn't it? Because 100%. I mean, the way the Battlehawks have played recently, where it's been slow, stagnant football, they've not been able to put up a lot of points. I think either team probably in the UFL side or USFL side would have beaten them. And with how Birmingham has been, I don't know if they would have matched up the best against DC. It would have been a decent game, but I think
it would have been nice to get the Bellboy 2.0 though.
Yeah, true. True. But yeah, I think this is the best way it could have played out as far as the matchup. I mean, if you look at DC's run defense struggles a little bit. So can they stop Michigan? Michigan's pass defense struggles. Can they stop Jordan Ta'amu? This is going to be a really good matchup to watch. So when I step back and look at it, of course I wanted my picks to win, but this might be the best way it could have played out for football's sake.
Well, shout out to J Mark, by the way, who has a future exacta ticket of Michigan to beat DC. And he's got that at 14-1.
Ooh, 14-1.
Where'd you get that prize piece at, DK?
ESPN bet in week 7 or 8, I believe it was.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm sitting on my paltry plus 430 DC future from my bookie, for crying out loud. I think I did that week 2.
Let's talk about that matchup some, but before I do that, I want to let you know that the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Edge Boost, the first ever bank account that is built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees, no minimums. They're not even going to do a credit check. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. And look, this is the last week to get in on the sign up. You sign up, you get a free refs or terrorist t-shirt. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to claim your free shirt today. We're also brought to you by Circa and their fantasy football giveaway. Circa Resort there in downtown Las Vegas. The Bet Detective was just there. They're giving away an ultimate fantasy football experience like no other for a 12-person league. The draft in Vegas will be treated like VIPs the entire stay. You'll get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 food and beverage tab at Stadium Swim, a couple other good bar deals, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. So what are you doing? Jump on over, and whether you're going to win this thing or not, you could always get 15% off at the Circa properties with the promo code SGP15. But enter the Ultimate Fantasy Football Contest. It is for free. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Circa. That's CIRCA. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Circa. All right, we are back where the crossroads certainly met the bullshit. I'm kind of bummed. I mean,
sure.
I think DC Arlington would have been a game. I don't feel confident that DC wins that game. So to me, it's like it's a phony championship. You know?
Yeah. Well, DC Arlington played each other twice this year. DC did win both times, but they were both great games. So, but we have already seen that. I wouldn't say it's a phony championship because Arlington's not in it. That's kind of a reach.
I just think if you put the 4 best teams in the league, you're giving them a bye week. You gave them a bye week essentially. And
I think DC and Michigan are the 2 best teams in the league. I think they've been the 2 best teams in the league all year.
Horseshit.
To be honest with you.
Horseshit.
And that's why if you looked at as J Mark dubbed me, the real king of spring, CJ. If you looked at CJ, the Bet Detectives power rankings, it's been Michigan DC for the last month and a half, and it's never budged. No matter.
I love how you're trying to back that up with this. See, one thing would be if the league wasn't just completely crooked.
Okay.
I saw the Rock tweet, by the way. Saw him finally tweet. There you go.
Yeah, he tweeted.
Hit his quota for the Army.
And to plug the reality show about the UFL, you put it out after the season. What are you doing? I mean, that's why they're so. That's what tilts me stuff. The Rock has been an absentee landlord the entire time. Don't use the one thing he has, which is the clout that he has. And he could easily push it, and
because he knows the integrity of the league is shit.
No, he doesn't. Okay, the Rock does not care about integrity about the fucking league.
He doesn't want to attach himself to some phony fucking shit, man.
But we say the UFL is it's prime for a reality show of showing these, because these guys aren't normal guys, they're normal. They're not these superstar millionaire athletes that you can't relate to. These are guys, you guys are trying to, make a living basically. I mean, they'd be great. I'm sure they have great stories, and they finally do it you have to do that during season. That's how you promote the product. You don't say, oh, the championship game, by the way, ends on Saturday night, and follow along their story later on here. No one's going to give a shit then. No one's going to tune into a UFL reality show on the off season. Are you crazy?
Well, and even worse, Bryce Perkins is a millionaire. He spent a few years in the on the LA Rams.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'd like to check the hood on his finances, though. I'm sure he made a lot of the best investments. God, I mean,
true, but he was a millionaire, or I mean, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I know. But you know what I mean. Bryce
I'm just so bummed about that shit, dude. Like I have a lot of resentment towards this league because of the way they fumbled everything down the stretch this year, last year, and just I think you should have a championship game where you earn your way there. I don't feel like that was really fair. I mean, DC fucked them up, but I just thought it's just disappointing. You want to see a league.
I'm just trying to get your argument. DC didn't earn their way there because they didn't play Arlington in the playoffs instead of.
Well, I just don't think they got the 4 best teams, in my opinion. So you
think St. Louis should have been out, Arlington in?
Yes.
That's 4 best.
Without question to me. Okay. Like, it's not even close to me.
Right. I mean, that's an argument. I don't mind that. I don't mind that argument that Arlington was a better team than St. Louis.
DC probably. I would have picked DC against Arlington though. So I mean, it just sucks though that it's like
they did beat them twice already. So
who's that?
We all know Perez would have blown it.
Yeah, right.
Well, against your boy Tama, which one, man?
Hey, Tama already beat him twice. What do you want?
I'll take Tama.
Yeah, but it's regular season. You know the coaches don't give a shit.
Well, maybe they should have.
Speaking of which, you want to yell at something? I was a little disappointed in, listen, league, you rigged this game to go to St. Louis, or whatever it is, or as DC did by booking a soccer game. That crowd did not look like it was a crazy 40,000.
There, that's what I'm saying. It's all fake.
It was their second worst turnout, they said.
Yeah, I don't know. What was the deal? What was it going up against?
I did see the Birmingham staff, some podcast that covers the Birmingham Stallions, saying, look at the first 3 years, Birmingham had good crowds in the USFL, and they burned that shit out. Maybe there's some truth to that, but either way, I mean,
and I will say, that's also another satisfying thing. Both teams who got screwed, Michigan and DC, by the home road thing. It was a little bit of justice that they went on the road and dominated basically in their place.
Yeah.
So I do feel good about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real quick, checking up with the notes. Bryce Perkins has a career earnings of $1.6 million. So it's possible he's not a millionaire anymore. You buy yourself a nice house, buy one for Ma. Might not be a millionaire anymore. And Steve wanted to know, do you for real have 8 TVs you're watching?
Yes.
Let me see
in the
if I
studio.
can successfully do this. I don't know if I can do it with all wired up, but yes, right here.
Panorama? Let's see it, Dundee. Let's see it.
I got to unhook shit.
He's got a TV he's got one TV for every dog he lets in from the streets out there and the dirt roads and corral. Speaking of diseases, who's got more disease? J-Mark's disease or the strays Dundee lets in there?
So do we have an early line on this game right now? I know we got to do a pick show. What's that?
It's 3 and 49.5.
So I'm assuming it's Michigan -3, 49.5.
49.5.
I will take the under. I mean, that's my first reaction when I hear that information. Does that link start?
No. No way. What kind of question is that?
It's the UFL. What are you talking about? That's an honest question. That's an honest question in the UFL.
The UFL is probably the one that held Mike Nolan's family hostage and said, "Do you see all the social media stuff we're getting on Perkins?"
Don't care that much. If they cared that much, we would have had a good product already. Yeah, my first reaction is I think the under's the play. We'll see if that line moves between now and Thursday. But Bet Detective, what's your first reaction to that number?
Mine was the opposite. I mean, that's a huge number. Although I should say, I said coming in, like, I'm playing the over no matter what. Then I saw 49.5. I'm like, oh, that kind of tests my no matter what theory there. But I think Michigan's secondary is very banged up. I think DC is going to be able to throw the ball a lot. And also Perkins against this DC defense is going to do whatever the hell they want as well. And when they did play each other in Michigan beat them pretty bad. But if I do recall, DC moved the ball. They just had some unfortunate situations when they got in the red zone, and then the game got out of hand. So I'm probably playing the over. DC's been an auto over team down the stretch for a while, and now with Perkins in there and Michigan and their banged up defense, playing the under doesn't sound fun to me.
They're going to want the over.
Right.
Just like they wanted St. Louis. The league will find a way to fuck it up. But J-Mark, what was your first reaction?
Well, first of all, unfortunate mishaps in the red zone. That should be the name of Luis Perez's next book. Just throwing that out there. Their red zone efficiency, not so good. The fake spike for interception. Anyways, I'll digress. These teams just combined for 80 points. Yeah, I know it was against different teams, but yeah, I think because of that, I tend to lean over. That's why the books are probably going to need the under, I suppose. As far as the line, I don't know. I kind of want to see where it moves in the next couple of days here. 3 sounds exactly right. It sounds like it's a 3-point game either way. I think this is going to be a competitive game.
Well,
the teams are going to go back and forth.
I don't think it's coming down. I think if anything, it goes up like 3.5, 4.
They played what week 6, I think it was.
Well, yeah, that's what we were just saying.
Michigan won 38-14.
Yeah, unfortunate mishaps. And
who started? Did Perkins play that game?
Yes, that was a Perkins game. That's when Michigan was on their peak, when they were really just blowing out teams. That's why I think this line, if anything, goes up to 4. So if you like Michigan, I would bet it now at a nice even 3.
I see a 50 out there, says St. Stephen.
Same.
Get that under on 50.
I see this game going in the 60s.
Really? Look,
in that filthy Battle Dome, you kidding me? Pristine conditions.
Yeah. How many people are gonna? That's what's so great about it.
I know.
I love seeing this league fail. It is fantastic.
I've seen a lot of the hardcore fans already pleading, hey, it's good for the league if we all show up. Everybody tunes into the Super Bowl. Why wouldn't you watch this?
You imagine that? Leagues bonding for friendship just to get to support it. That's an easy Midwest drive, Iowa to St. Louis, right, J-Mark?
Yeah.
That's like
about 5.5, 6 hours.
That's like going to Target.
They got shitters along the way. You're good.
Maybe they shouldn't have planned it on fucking Father's Day. People got plans.
Yeah, good luck on these reviews or these ratings, by the way. I did see that the
1.2 million they bragged for a rating number.
Well, but look, that is a good number for this season. But I happened to be scrolling down when I saw that, and like 5 tweets below that was the Texas Tech softball game got 3.4 million, and I'm like, okay,
they get paid more, those players. Jesus Christ, the NIL money on that. I mean, that one gal got like $1.5 million.
Oh man, and the worst part about it is I want spring leagues to work. but it is hilarious. Like we like seeing the league try to do everything in their power back-to-back years so that St. Louis hosts a home game, and then it blows up in their face, and it's fucking funny, dude. It's fucking funny.
Speaking of the league working, Corbin has got some tryouts. Some other players have gotten tryouts. I saw some go to the AF1. Some have gotten tryouts at the CFL. It's good to see these guys getting other opportunities, getting to continue to play.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts, I think, for J.Mar Smith, he'll be back there next week.
You're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait for the championship game though to give Tua and Toa. All right, register. How about Toa? 3 touchdowns. J-Mark, you must have cashed a DFS, right, with him in there?
It was a small cash.
Look, folks, before we get to the rest of this crossroads and bullshit, I want to let you know that the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. So what are you doing? Sign up, and when you do, use our promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, you've probably heard me rattle off gibberish about Rhythm, but now they just dropped a game-changing brand new feature called Power Trends. This is an awesome thing because these are AI detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI, baby. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range, folks. Power Trends are updated daily, and they're exclusive to Rhythm and Rhythm only. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. So download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. We will be. So what are you doing? Get your free 7-day trial period today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Bet the UFL championship over there and every other sport. Stanley Cup, NBA Finals, College Baseball World Series. Great time to be alive. All right, MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations. So head on over to mybookie.ag and use our promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Of course, terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back on the UFL Gambling Podcast where the crossroads hang out with the bullshit. Look, I was wrong on Birmingham, but I will say Perkins is by far the best player in this league. Do we all agree there?
Yeah, that was part of, and
yeah,
you can recheck the tape. That was obviously most of my analysis for why Michigan was going to win.
Oh, if they played the whole game, I actually thought Nolan would get in the way. I really believe that.
Yeah, and that's understandable because he's Mike Nolan.
So, if you're willing to give that. If you're willing to give that, can you go a little further and admit that St. Louis was horse shit all year?
Listen, I think if anything, this show, and J Mark is one of the biggest St. Louis owners, but even we were the ones, if anything, ranked them appropriately, kind of underranked them because of what they, their records deserve. People are like, why are you guys low in St. Louis? We're like, well, there's flaws in that system. If anything, I think we were pretty realistic about St. Louis, and that was definitely part of my handicap why I took DC because I'm like, they're the better team.
Let me correct that. With Manny Wilkins, I actually thought St. Louis was a real team.
They were very good. With Manny
once that happened, I was like, this is bullshit.
And I don't want to shade on Dugan. He did have a bad game, but Dugan kept it together and played well. I mean, he's just a different style. He's definitely more of a running quarterback than he is a throwing quarterback. That Manny Wilkins allowed them that, but
they weren't built to come from behind,
right?
With Duggan there, yeah.
But
they just weren't a good team. There's a huge handicap on their team right from the start.
But when they're running the ball and play good defense, I mean, they ran all over Birmingham in a game that mattered a couple weeks ago, in a game that was a great game between two heavyweights. You can't say St. Louis was bad in that, but
I just think eye test wise, since that injury, they didn't look like a good team to me, and they just kept getting gifted wins.
See, I disagree because I think their defense played really well, and I think they could run the ball. They were one of the better running teams in the league. So I disagree that their quarterback play left a lot to be desired because they couldn't stretch the field. I will agree with that. But a lot of these teams couldn't stretch the field. They also couldn't run the ball or play good defense. I mean, that's why Memphis and the Brahmas sucked, because they couldn't play defense. They couldn't run the ball as well. And Battlehawks could.
And a lot of it is Tony Baloney in a big moment. You know, that's what's going to happen. The processed meat's going to come out.
I mean, I even think Houston would have been a better game.
Coach Tony Meatball. I'm sorry.
Houston would have been a better game. If it was Houston, D.C., would have been a better game.
Listen, St. Louis didn't play good. We all love Houston on this show. But we can't say Houston's a better team than St. Louis for the season. Crying out loud. You can't say that.
I just don't think – I think the league sucks. I think they propped up a shitty team. I think they propped up a shitty team to get to the playoffs, to host a game. They should have
traded McClendon to St. Louis. That's what you're saying.
That's what they should have done. The Rock could have got out of Hawaii. They would have had a meeting about this. Said, guys, McClendon's got to go over there. All right. And anyway, so
it's over with. We're going to the game of the two best teams.
No, I disagree.
You think it should be Arlington? You think it should be Arlington versus Houston in a championship game?
I think, I think they deserved. Arlington definitely deserved a shot. They were better than St. Louis all year, and I think I'll go toe to toe that every roster spot.
Colby, they played each other in a game with St. Louis.
Those are fake. Those are fake games.
In week 7, they had only won 3 games. Or week 8.
Fake games. Are you kidding me?
Against all the teams,
This is why this league is bullshit. The best team loses. Majority of the times, the best teams lose in this bullshit league the past 2 years.
Well, I can't argue with someone who thinks nothing exists. If something exists, you're like, well, that wasn't real. It wasn't a thing. Okay.
Dude, I gave you the fucking stats. I gave you Stiffs the fucking stats. When 44% of the games, when you're getting outgained, that is a bullshit product.
Okay. Arlington was 3-5 in week 9, right?
Those were
week
all
9.
bullshit losses. And who am I? I'm not no Bob Stoops guy. I'm just telling you, they were better than their fucking record. The league conspired against them. And we, unfortunately, get shitty matchups because of that.
Listen, I'll back you on like Arlington, and I like Arlington. I told you I had that future. They got hosed in that Michigan game with the clock by Dino Blandino, no doubt about it. And then another thing, they should have won that game versus DC the first.
I'm about to say, what about the DC game? Come on, man, you could go. I'm
not saying they got hosed on it, but they should have won. They should have won it. They didn't. When they played St. Louis in that night game, they were handled by St. Louis, and they were the better. It was crazy that it was even that close. And a lot of it is King of Spring, Luis Perez. He's inconsistent. He does things that really puts his team in jeopardy. St. Louis beat him. They should have beat him. They should have beat him by more. That if anything, that shows that St. Louis is not the team that they were turned out to me. But you can't just say Arlington's just better than him because that game didn't exist.
It didn't happen. And St. Stephen's is the best teams. This is my problem with the league. The best teams are the teams that win on game day. No, it's not.
Right.
Not in this league. In this league, it's horseshit. That's why the league sucks.
North Carolina, but wins matter in New Hampshire. I'll tell you that.
That's why I've been hosting. I host the USFL Gambling Podcast. I host the AAF fucking Gambling Podcast. The CFL. I've never once been this much of a fucking hater on a league. This has deserved it because it sucks. It sucks. That
was a great tout of yourself. Like this is
because a lot of people think I just am like a spring football hater. I love spring football. I want that shit to exist.
And we say this because we know you. It all comes from a place of love. You want the best for all of your kids, and all these spring leagues are your kids. And
this one is that
some are fuck ups, some are overachievers.
This is that Sam Cassell kid just looking like a fucking alien. You're just like, God damn.
Yeah, but Sam Cassell can fill it up. Hell of a baller when it comes to at the end of the day.
It's true. I saw him make it rain at a nightclub on Sunset Strip once too.
Really?
Right? I was one of these ones trying to swoop up some cash that he threw out there. So you look like a fucking alien. Holy shit! There's money.
How you getting in the same club as Sam Cassell? You saying you're Casey Affleck again, trying to get your way through the door?
I said I was the real king of spring. All right. All right, we'll be back Thursday to pick this championship game where Crossroads meet bullshit in that filthy Battle Dome. Anthony Beck, is he back next year? Bet Detective, there's speculation.
I know there's a lot of speculation on the UFL feeds out there, but they have no power.
He interviewed at West Virginia this past year.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Good for him. I mean, I always make fun of Coach Tony Meatball. I have a long personal history with him, and but he does choke in big games. I will say that the only big game that you actually really won, especially this year, was that Birmingham game towards the end of the regular season. That being said,
that was rigged.
I know
that was a fake game. That was another fake game.
But what in what capacity is he going to be in West Virginia? You know the West Virginia.
No. He went to West Virginia, so maybe that's why they interviewed him. But I'm saying if he's looking for a gig, he was looking for a college football coaching gig. So maybe I don't know. But Skip Holtz is another one where it almost seems like he might be done after this by some of the shit that he said.
I can see Skip moving on if he still wants to coach. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's definitely got this resume here, unless he's just especially like you said, it was a down year, Birmingham attendance and energy wise. I can see one getting one out of that.
And then the AAF. I mean, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? The Bob Stoops is kind of. I think he's out. If I had to bet, I think that Holtz 50-50. Stoops, I think, is gone.
Yeah,
Beck, I think, is back.
When you're getting knee injuries the week of the game, like Bob Stoops, and he had quotes this year, Stoops, where he was almost like on your side, like, what's going on with this league? Remember when he yelled at the ref? You have stupid rules.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking, they're talking to Rock. What do you want from me?
It's like, that's the rules? That's that's a stupid fucking rule.
I love Stoops.
How about Skip Holtz's? He made him look at the sky. How's that not hands to the face? Did you guys catch that one? And he made him look at the sky.
What else? Memphis is back next year, you said, right, J Mark?
Yeah, so they do have season tickets on sale now, unless they're planning on just refunding those if they don't have a team, but that seems a little silly. So yeah, I think that points to the fact that they will have a team. And just real quick with the coach turnover, I kind of like the coach turnover. I think that might, maybe if they don't just add a bunch of old guys, not that old guys are bad, but I think some new blood, some guys that haven't had the opportunity to coach, I think that could be good for the league.
Yeah, but it might be bad for their career. Look, Memphis coming back. Memphis, go out there, put Dresser Wynn in some goddamn Montgomery Awards ads or some shit. You know what I mean? Get some fans going. Get a goddamn Slurpee with his face on it or some shit. Memphis back next year, Bet Detective. You in?
Well, I mean, J Mark is assuming a lot there when you say that they're going to refund your money if they don't exist. I'm not quick to give them any cash for a ticket. So who knows if they're going to be around, So that'd be interesting if they do come back. I hope they come back. They're one that at least, but if they change their logo and uniforms back to what they used to be.
Oh, thank you. Agreed. Thank God.
And I hope we see teams like your Oakland Invaders and the Bandits. I hope that excites me more than anything.
What do you guys think about the talk that's come out about maybe going away from the USFL and XFL conferences and having it being a North-South conference? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't mind mixing it up there. I think the USFL versus XFL rivalry isn't really.
Well, they only have 3 USFL teams, and there's why.
Yeah,
they didn't exist together long enough to have a rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we should be. By the way, just to piggyback off something we were talking about before the show, since we have a couple minutes here, the announcers loved bragging or saying the fact that when Matt Corral came in, that since he was on IR, he got to go home. They kept saying to go. So we should be congratulating all these teams that are winning. Listen, like they act like they're they're
a hostage.
Well, like they're a sequestered jury or something, like on a murder case, like on the OJ case. Like finally, Anthony McFarland gets to go home for a couple of weeks. He said home. So these last 2 teams are literally like Big Brother or something. They can't get out of there until somebody wins this damn thing.
That is hilarious. There's got to be some type of incentive you're getting, or is it just you're paid one more week, the same flat rate?
They get paid by wins, right? Of
course. Maybe I should have
bonuses.
There's bonuses for wins, and the champion. Everybody on the championship roster gets a $10,000 bonus.
Okay, there you go. See,
So,
is that straight up cash, or is that like we'll give you $10,000 at Ruby Tuesdays?
It's probably $10,000 tax, so you really get like $4,600. But still,
Oh man, yeah. What? So, anything else? We should key in on?
No, it would be fun if you had one last power rankings. I just want to see how high up you have Arlington and Houston.
Yeah. So one, I have Michigan.
Top 5.
If Bryce Perkins is playing the whole game, I have Michigan 1,
okay.
2 Birmingham, 3 Arlington, 4 DC, 5 Houston, 6 San Antonio, 7 St. Louis, and 8 Memphis.
I'd respect it if you had to put St. Louis at least 6. I can't give you Brahmas.
Yeah. Well, after AJ Smith's comments, I said, you know what? Maybe he's onto something. Maybe this is all phony. He said they have a fake coach. Look, when you have the offensive coordinator confirmed, this is like the JFK assassination, right?
Listen,
like you have an offensive coordinator.
Was on this.
Yes. He said this. We had a fake head coach. You had a fake head coach. You and you're sitting there trying to tell me these games aren't fake? Get the fuck out of here. With the league's owned by the WWE? Come on.
I also like J Mark's angle too, though.
What's that?
AJ Smith's a shyster. Who we kidding?
Oh man, it is hilarious saying like we would have won championships. I was like, dude, you act like your team was some fucking like you caught lightning in a bottle. Right. Got lucky enough to get in the league, got to get in the playoffs.
Or whatever
yeah,
to get them in there, and they got smoked.
Making sure you didn't hit any cash because I put the bet detectives lineup in because Vegas was you didn't hit for shit. You didn't hit for shit this week.
Well, I wasn't in my state. That's because I didn't submit it. That's why I like to give you.
I put bad juju on it. Well, look, we'll be back Thursday, and obviously next Tuesday to react.
Yep.
Yeah, next Tuesday to react. So buckle up. There's 2 more episodes of Crossroads and Bullshit. All right.
Yeah, it's almost a threat the way you say it.
Yeah, there's 2 more. Dude,
coming at you. So get ready.
Behind the scenes here.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes here. I was putting my kid to sleep.
All right.
By putting on some UFL games. And these guys texted me saying, weren't we supposed to go live like 15 minutes ago? Where you at, Dundee? I said, oh, shit, I forgot. I thought the league was done. After St. Louis, I just figured, wouldn't that be great if they just said, like, well, we thought St. Louis would win, so let's just cancel the rest of the season.
Poor Moose Johnson. Set all this up for the money.
Anyway, be back Thursday. Give the Bet Detective a follow on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _ JMark's on Twitter at JMarkFootball. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. And take my notes. You got a newborn out there? Put on a UFL game. Right? That white noise will you fuck a sound machine. Get that white noise from a Showboats game.
It is a common
You're
Birmingham
good.
Especially, I think, with the way the sun hits it and the way it's just laid out. There's so many empty chairs. It's nice. It's soothing.
There you go.
You hear
there you go.
You hear a lot of good mic'd up moments. So.
And you might wake up in the middle of it. You might doze off with your kid, your son, your daughter. You might wake up in the middle of it and you go, "What's this? What's it?" You sound like Bob Stoops. All right, don't worry about it. What's this rule? What's going on here? That's Curtis Johnson too. So yeah. Anyway, see you Thursday. Keep fighting the good fight, and remember, Crossroads Meet Bullshit is always here. This is the UFL Gambling Podcast. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can get